2024 and to be one of your co-MCs with Phil today. I'm so excited to be here with all of you to kick off Pride Week in Ottawa.
Thank you, Ramisha. After many different Teams chats, we're finally meeting in person today. On aimerait tout d'abord souligner que les terres sur lesquelles nous sommes réunis se situent sur le territoire ancestral non cédé du peuple de la nation Anishinaabe-Algonquin. Nous disons miigwech, Kianamik et merci à toutes les Premières Nations ainsi qu'au peuple inuit et métis, gardiens de ces terres depuis des temps immémoriaux. We want to also honor on this important day the long history of sexual and gender diversity within Indigenous cultures. Some Indigenous cultures use the term two-spirit to describe a person with both masculine and feminine spirits.
White settler colonization brought concepts of binary, gender, limited sexuality, which were foreign to Indigenous cultures and traditions. Homophobic European beliefs forced two-spirit people to conform to heteronormative ways of life in order to survive. Residential schools further ingrained homophobia in these children, and several generations of Indigenous children who have been forcibly taken away from their families and communities were taught that homosexuality is wrong and punishable. As we stand on this Anishinaabe-Algonquin land and honor its original peoples, we recognize that our work to eliminate the barriers for two-spirit LGBTQIA+ community must include and center decolonization.
Alors que nous nous tenons sur le territoire de la nation Anishinaabe-Algonquin et que nous rendons hommage à ces peuples originels, nous reconnaissons que notre engagement à éliminer les barrières pour la communauté deux esprits LGBTQIA+, chaque lettre compte, doit inclure des efforts de décolonisation. We would like to welcome all of you who are joining us in person, this beautiful weather today, or virtually, and a special welcome to all my colleagues and members of the Rainbow Employee Network. A big welcome to our special guests today, Mayor Mark Sartcliffe, the Mayor of Ottawa, Councillor Catherine Kitts, Chair of the Ottawa Board of Health, Councillor Ariel Troster, Council Liaison for Women, Gender Equity, and 2S LGBTQIA+ Affairs, Dr. Vera Etches, Medical Officer of Health for Ottawa Public Health, Tamatha Trenholm, member of the City of Ottawa Rainbow Employee Network, and if I missed anyone, I would also like to acknowledge the presence of many leaders among the City of Ottawa here celebrating us today, either in person and virtually.
To get us started today, I would like to welcome Simone Charette. Simone is Ojibwe from Wikwemikong, unceded reserve. Simone is currently a care worker at Ottawa Native Friendship Centre. Simone Charette brings long-standing experience from previous roles at Ottawa Native Friendship Centre. She is an alumna of the University of Ottawa, and she will do us the honor of smudging the flag and all of our speakers today. I would also like to welcome Nimkeens Wemikwans. Nimkeens is originally also from the Wemikwong unceded territory on Manitoulin Island, but currently lives in Ottawa. And he has been living on unceded, unsurrendered Algonquin territory for the past 7 years. He started partaking in his Ojibwe cultures and traditions very early in life, starting off by learning how to dance the men's traditional category of powwow. He eventually began singing after his mom took him to a local women's hand drum circle, and he would then later ask his mom to take him to big drum practices next door at his neighbor's house. From there, Nim has sang with many drum groups throughout his entire singing career: Whitetail Cree, High Ridge, Crazy Spirit, Young Creek, and Chippewa Travelers, to name a few. His singing has taken him all across North America, and he is now starting his Master of Ceremonies career. He takes on the simple role of singing when called upon, as today, and he now teaches young Indigenous students in the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Simone and Nimkeens.
Okay, so I just got explained to me that rather than me going around to smudge you all, that I'm mainly smudging the speakers. However, I still feel like that I should stand to the side and anybody who wishes to come up and be smudged, do so. So smudging involves like cleaning your body spiritually. Today I'm using about, I think, 3 of the 4 medicines that are used in my Ojibwe community. So in this smudge I have tobacco, cedar, and sage. And I just didn't break up any sweetgrass, so it's a little bit of rush. But then again, you make do with what you have, and every smudging ceremony is different. Every ceremony itself is different. So feel free to come up, and don't feel that you have to. There's no insistence on this.
So we'd like to invite the speakers for today. So Salem, Councillor Troster, Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, Tamitha.
So I'll try to keep the smudge going during your ceremony.
Okay, so you just want me to like walk around like around or something? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ani Kinoya, Nimkis Dizakasa, Gigdo Dem, We Kwem Kong, and Dojaba. For everybody that may not understood what I said, I just introduced myself in the Ojibwe Ottawa language. I'm originally from Wequem Kong unceded territory. So what I'm going to be doing is normally when we do events and ceremonies like this, we usually have like an opening welcome song. You know, we just kind of inviting, you know, those spirits and those ancestors that are no longer here with us to be here. You know, make sure that they watch over and that we have like we do this with a good heart and good intentions, and being able to just kind of start off our day with that. So with that being said, I will sing one of those songs now.
Merci Simone and Nimkins. What a privilege it is to witness your traditions today and to be smudged. Chi Miigwech. I would now like to invite Dr. Vera Etches, our medical officer of health, to share a few words of welcome.
Thank you. It's really great to see everyone here. And thank you for the opportunity to share a few words on behalf of Ottawa Public Health, but considering all City of Ottawa teams. We are making time to be together for this event and to join other Pride events to express our solidarity with the 2S LGBTQIA+ people in Ottawa and to celebrate the value of the diversity of this community. And I have been reflecting on how, as humans, we are shaped by our cultural context. And some of what we learn when we're growing up can be harmful to others, even when we share common values of compassion and care for others. So we need to all keep open. We need to keep learning. Nous devons tous rester ouverts et continuer à apprendre. Learn is one of the key themes of Pride this year. And I want to recognize the significant and inspiring contributions of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, including city employees, who are fostering change for the better, who are demanding that their human rights are protected. Your activism is an example to all of us to continue to remember our common humanity and to work to make sure that we treat others as we would like to be treated ourselves. I always appreciate the slogan that I see on t-shirts in the Pride Parade each year. Love is love. L'amour, c'est l'amour. And truly, we can't go wrong if we're supporting actions that promote love in the world. I am proud of how Ottawa Public Health and City of Ottawa employees have been learning when it comes to 2S LGBTQIA+ relationship building and understanding. Last year, our Board of Health member, Brent Bauer, he pointed out that relationships have not always been positive between the gay community and public health, but we found ways to work through issues and to address topics of importance in the community through adopting a listening mode. And listen is the first word in the Pride theme this year. So listening is always a good place to start, and it is still needed. L'écoute est toujours un bon point de départ et reste nécessaire. We have evolved our work with community members towards real dialogue and understanding and more meaningful relationships. And this is the only way that we will be equipped to act, which is the last word in the theme for this year. We have to be informed to be able to act to address discrimination and persecution of people based on sexual orientation and gender identity across the lifespan. Members of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community do come to us for services with the city, and we proactively reach out to support community members. So we must make sure that our services are safe for people who are from families of all different types, for people with all manner of sexual health questions, people whose mental health concerns may be related to discrimination based on gender. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen respectfully and take action to promote safer services. Merci de prendre le temps d'écouter avec respect et de prendre des mesures pour améliorer nos services. Thank you also for actively supporting the Rainbow Employee Network and colleagues who may be less confident speaking up about their experience as a member of the 2S LGBTQIA community. We need to support everyone to be heard, to share their expertise about how we must keep learning and adapting our approaches. So listen, learn, and act. These are Ottawa Public Health and City roles to work with community members to promote inclusion and counter hate, to promote health. This week, we celebrate the strong examples of members of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community that are making a difference in our workplaces and in our city. So thank you, merci, miigwech, and happy Pride.
Merci beaucoup, Vera, pour vos mots inspirants. I personally, as a member of the OPH team, a member of the 2S LGBTQIA plus community, I appreciate your allyship, and I appreciate you inspiring the OPH team members to always listen and to translate that listening, that learning into action for our community. Thank you. Next, I would like to, maintenant je voudrais inviter à la parole Monsieur le Maire, Mark Sutcliffe. I'd like to introduce our Mayor, Mark Sutcliffe, to join us in celebrating Pride.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. I think this is the coldest I've ever felt during Pride Week in Ottawa. It's not normally like this in August. So, but I am delighted to be here, and it's great to join with all of you, with our city employees, with the great people at Ottawa Public Health, and with everyone who is here today to mark this very important occasion. I want to take a moment to salute Vera, Dr. Etches, and the entire team at Ottawa Public Health. Thank you all for the great work that you do every single day in our community. Thank you for the work that you do to support the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. We're grateful for everything you do. I also want to recognize my colleague Catherine Kitts, who is the chair of the board of Ottawa Public Health and doing a great job with that. And of course, Ariel Troster, our colleague on City Council, who is the council liaison for women, gender equity, and 2S LGBTQ plus, QQIA plus affairs. We're also joined by our colleague Lane Johnson as well. So welcome to you. And there are so many members of the community here, allies and friends. I also want to recognize His Excellency David Cohen, the U.S. Ambassador to Canada, who has been, I was speaking with him earlier today, he's been attending Pride events for more than 30 years, and especially here in Ottawa since he became the U.S. Ambassador to Canada. So I want to thank you all for being here today and for taking a moment to raise the flag. It's great to see the flag and to know that it'll be flying here all week. This is a moment to recognize the hard work that has been done over many decades by the leaders of the community, the trailblazers, the activists, the people who stuck their necks out, the people who fought hard for the rights of the community, for human rights. It's an opportunity to recognize and acknowledge all the members of our community who have been working hard for those rights, and some of whom who have been struggling over time and struggling and facing incredible bigotry and opposition. It's an important reminder of how hard fought those rights have been and how we must continue to fight and to sustain those rights and to support the people in the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. It's vitally important that we continue to celebrate diversity and inclusion. I know it's been a difficult week for many people in the community, but we have to move forward together. We have to continue working together. And one thing that has never changed is our support for the community, for the 2S LGBTQIA plus community, and our support for their rights. And that will not change. That will continue to be a priority at the City of Ottawa. It will continue to be a priority for our employees, for our residents. And so we are here to support you and to celebrate all that's been done and to continue to fight for those rights. So thank you for standing together. Thank you for celebrating Pride. Happy Pride Week, everyone. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, for your remarks and your continued support for the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. I would now like to invite our esteemed member of Ottawa City Council representing Somerset Ward, who serves as the Council Liaison for Women, Gender Equity and 2S LGBTQIA plus affairs. We work very closely together. Welcome, Councillor Troster.
Hi everybody, happy Pride. I'm so proud and excited to be here today. As I said this morning at the flag raising at City Hall, I came out 26 years ago, which I guess officially makes me a queer elder. I have also been going to Pride for nearly 30 years. And all I have to say is I don't think we've ever needed Pride more than we need it now. I married my wife in 2010. 14 years ago, and that was only 4 years after same-sex marriage was made legal across the whole country. I was sitting in the gallery of the House of Commons when that vote happened, and I remember the opposition then. And I have to tell you, the political moment that we're facing now is more frightening to me and more urgent than ever. We're seeing a wave of legislation, particularly targeting trans kids and their access to healthcare across the country. We're seeing a real rollback and a real backlash, and so that's why it's so important that we stand together, and why I'm so proud and happy to be here. And the only other thing I'll say is, as a queer person, as a Jewish person, I come from two cultures where we have lots of passionate conversations and lots of passionate disagreements. But even when we disagree, we're still family. We still sit at the table together, we still march together, because that's what makes community. So I'm excited to celebrate Pride this year, and I hope to see many of you out at different events, and I want you to know that your city's here for you. A lot of people might not know that right now our service providers tell us that 50% of the youth in our youth shelter system here in Ottawa are from the 2S LGBTQ+ community. So these are kids who need their city to support them, and I'm so proud that we are, and I'm so proud of all the work that you do. But we really need to stand together, and I just want to say Pride is for absolutely everyone. And I'm so thankful that this is the third flag raising happening today. I was at one, Mayor Sutcliffe was at one, and now we're here at one together. So thank you all for your continued support, and thank you also to city staff. Some of you probably came out before I did and have been working here for just as long, and I've seen all the changes, and all the work that you're doing helps ensure that our services are equal and accessible to absolutely everyone. So I know it's been a tough week. I know we've had some tough conversations, but I hope that we can still celebrate together, and thank you again for being here.
Merci, conseillère Truster, pour vos mots et vos contributions incroyables à l'appui de la communauté de deux esprits LGBTQIA+. At Ottawa, ici à Ottawa et plus loin. I especially appreciate your comments about us being a family and having tough conversations, and that's not going to stop today. We're going to keep doing that, and that's how we advance everyone's interests. Thank you. I would like now to invite our colleague Tamitha Trenholm, who works as a senior data analytics strategist with the Strategic Initiatives Department and is also a member of the Rainbow Employee Network, to share her perspectives. Please join me in welcoming Tamitha.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Pride. Thank you for having me here. I feel quite privileged to be here with such amazing members of the Ottawa community. I have to say, when I came out in early 1996 as bisexual, I'd never imagined I'd be speaking at a flag raising for the city of Ottawa, not just because I didn't live in Ottawa at the time. And I think that actually makes me at 28 years, Councillor Truster, so I got 2 years of seniority. So, as Councillor Truster said, in 1996 at that time, same-sex marriage was not legalized. I came out a few months before sexuality was even entered into the Canadian Human Rights Act. So we were not protected when I first came out. It was a very different world. And also at that time, in all communities, heterosexual or the queer community, the world of binary was still extremely strong. The number of letters that people had to cite at events like this was a lot shorter. So when I came out as bisexual, that was unusual. And I found myself not fitting in the heterosexual world, and I also found myself not fitting in the queer community. I actually went to lesbian groups and was told I couldn't belong because I wasn't gay enough. So, to that message, if anyone else here lives in that in-between world, whether it's sexuality, whether it's gender, if you're fluid, wherever you fall, the first message I want to share today is you are enough. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not enough of something. And then for those in the audience who are thinking, well, I'm not part of the community and I want to be an ally, and how do I do that? Let me tell you a little story from that time, because I could not have gotten through those early years without my allies. So at that time, I was once at a party. I was in university. You kind of do that in university. I'm in another room, but I can hear from the room next door someone very loudly espousing their opinions on bisexuality not existing. And anyone who knows me knows, of course, I'm now planning to speak up because I'm not good at being quiet. So I'm taking a breath and I'm planning and I'm going to go into the room and I'm thinking through what I'm going to say. And then before I have a chance to even clear my head about it, I hear my friend speak up and say, you know what? I find that very offensive. And that's discriminatory. And I don't want to hear that. And I think that you need to think hard about that, especially as someone who yourself has experienced discrimination. And I suddenly felt a weight that I didn't even know I was carrying on my chest and on my shoulders lift. And I suddenly realized this weight I had carried was now lighter. So for those trying to figure out how to be an ally, sometimes it's that simple. It's just speaking up at an event so someone else doesn't have to. So they don't have to carry that weight every single day. So that is my message, and I want to say thank you to all the allies out there, especially, as Councillor Troster said, in today's day, because we need you more than ever. So thank you very much, and thank you to everyone who's come out today. Happy Pride! Celebrate and have fun!
Thank you so much, Tamitha. That was amazing. Before we raise the flag, I have been given the distinct pleasure of inviting our next special guest, Salem Page, whose pronouns are they, them. Salem Page self-describes as a transgender fluid artist, poet, designer, and existentialist, a multifaceted and prolific artist whose portfolio also includes photography and web design. They have captivated readers worldwide with their rich and introspective poetry and prose. They have received several awards and recognition, including the League of Canadian Poets Fresh Voice in 2023, and we're thrilled to have you here, Salem Page. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming them.
Hello, as was said, my name is Salem Page. I'm a transgender, gender fluid, bisexual, non-binary, disabled poet, artist, performer, author, and I'm also an arts administrator at Digital Arts Resource Centre. But I used to work in healthcare, so speaking today with Ottawa Public Health is really close to my heart. I was told today we're talking about listening and learning and coming together. The theme is listen, learn, act. And as a queer person, but also a human in general, it's really important to learn from our elders. Lots of queer people, lots of queer artists and poets have passed on. We saw a large group of them be taken from us with the HIV/AIDS epidemic. So learning from the work of those we lost and also from the survivors from that time, listening to their stories, I think is really integral today. I also want to point out that so many of our rights were championed by trans and Black and Indigenous and people of color from the queer community. And we must be grateful and appreciative of everything that they did to get us to this point. So my first poem I'm going to be presenting is for them, and it is titled "To Those Who Came Before." Grateful spills down my shirt collar. My open mouth flows thanks that spill on the stone of this bathroom floor. Do you know how much blood was on our hands, from our hands? I never had to see it. Remnants of vitriol find their way to the street where crosswalks are painted prismatic, and I was told the moon would not love me back as I appreciated her shape from below. I will never know the acidity of yesterday, and for that I thank those who came before. Thank you. Like I mentioned, people of color have been championing 2S LGBTQIA+ rights for as long as they've existed, period. And it would be really ignorant for me to not recognize that the color of my skin gives me so many advantages and opportunities and privileges that other queer people whose voices deserve to be heard just as much as mine don't get. This acknowledgement comes from conversations I've had within my community with queer people of color who have been in the same place I have and have not received these opportunities. I wouldn't know had I not spoken to my community and engaged with those I surround myself with. These conversations led to a lot of reflections on being white and my privilege. Even despite my queerness, my disability, that whiteness trumps it all. I know a lot of white people, a lot of white queer people who think their queerness makes them super oppressed, and we never consider the other perspectives, the other experiences of people within our community. Activism requires intersectionality. It requires an openness to the perspectives and the experiences of others. There's a quote in an essay by Kathy J. Cohen. The essay is called Punks, Bulldaggers, and Welfare Queens. And she writes, "My concern is centered on those individuals who consistently activate only one characteristic of their identity or a single perspective of consciousness to organize their politics, rejecting any recognition of the multiple and intersecting systems of power that largely dictate our life chances. The same systems that harm queer people, that harm disabled people, harm immigrants and newcomers, harm people of color, harm women. All of our struggles are connected and made by the same systems." So I hope this message comes through in this next poem I'm going to be reading for you, and prompts the research and reflection of other white people, other people within the community, and reminds you to open yourself to the experiences of others within the community who might not look exactly like you. So this poem is called "I Do Not Suffer as Deeply or Even Come Close." My queerness is swallowed by the shade of my skin, and I benefit greatly. I am caressed by a world that reveres colorless skill before long-held practice. I try to wield the hum of my Western tongue to project voices like mine long muffled by settler silence, compared to whom I do not suffer as deeply or even come close. Privilege weighs more than pride, and we often suffocate in its presence unknown. I sink bleached teeth into a bulging savior complex. See, I made it about myself again. So the last poem I'm going to read for you today is actually not one of my own. I don't want to make it all about myself today. I want to focus on our themes of listening and learning and sharing diverse experiences. So I'm coming to you with a poem that represents an experience not like my own. This poem is by Dana Smith, who they're a Black, queer, HIV positive poet and performer from Minneapolis. They're a poetry slam champion, a poetry collective founder. They host the Poetry Foundation podcast, which is like a huge poetry organization, if you know of it. And they're just all around like a really, really cool person, and I would like to close out on this poem of theirs today. It's titled "Tonight in Oakland" by Dana Smith. I did not come here to sing a blues. Lately, I open my mouth and out come marigolds, yellow plums. I came to make the sky a garden. Give me rain or give me honey, dear Lord. The sky has given us no water this year. I ride my bike to a boy. When I get there, what we make will not be beautiful or love at all, but it will be deserved. I've started seeking men to wet the harvest. Come tonight, I declare we must move instead of pray. Tonight, east of here, 2 boys, one dressed in what could be blood and one dressed in what could be blood before the wound, meat and mean mug, and God, tonight let them dance. Tonight the bullet does not exist. Tonight the police have turned to their God for forgiveness. Tonight we bury nothing. We serve a God with no need for shovels. We serve a God with a bad hip and a brother in prison. Tonight let every man be his own Lord. Let wherever 2 people stand be a reunion of ancient lights. Let's waste the moon's marble glow, shouting our names to the stars until we are the stars. Oh, precious God, oh, sweet black town, I am drunk and I thirst. When I get to the boy who lets me practice hunger with him, I will not give him the name of your newest ghost. I will give him my body. And what he does with it is none of my business. I will say, look, I made it a whole day, still, no rain, still I am without exit wound. And he will say, tonight I want to take you how the police do, unarmed and sudden. And tonight when we dream of dancing in a city, slowly becoming ash. I've been Salem Page, thank you so much.
Thank you, Salem. Thank you, Salem, for your art that's inspiring us and urging us to think beyond our concepts of pride and our concepts of identity. Thank you very much. We are just about to do the thing that you all came here to do. So I'm excited for that. But I just want to say, I think this, the remarks that we've heard have made me reflect on what this flag means. And, generally the pride flag means inclusion. It means representing the challenges, the celebrations, the diversity that the 2S LGBTQIA+ community lives with, experiences every day. But I think through the remarks we've heard, it also represents legacy, where we've come from, the people who have fought for the rights that we experience and we benefit from today. But it also represents where we are right now today, the present, and I hope it represents the future as well. The work we have to do to continue that advocacy, continue that allyship, speaking up on behalf of others, taking the weight off members of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community who experience that stigma. And so as we raise the flag today, I encourage you all to think about what the flag means to you, and what we've heard from our speakers today. Thank you. Without further ado, I'd like to just invite Mayor Sutcliffe, our other speakers, Councillor Troster, up to the flag, and we'll take a minute to raise it. And I'm going to come over and I'll whisper how you do this, because it's a little tricky. I've done it a couple of times now. So 1 minute.
I thought it's fun.
Okay, so Phil and I are just going to share a few words, and then we're going to invite everybody to come inside where we've got some snacks, and Nimkins will lead us in one more performance, which will be participatory, so we'll have a little bit of a dance circle that Simone will lead. So, people from diverse cultures, sexual orientations, ethnocultural backgrounds, gender identities and expressions, and faiths converge on this beautiful land, the traditional, unceded, and unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people. As we continue to do our work to become more diverse, equitable, and inclusive by eliminating barriers and focusing on anti-racism work and anti-oppression strategies and journey, let us take the time to celebrate what makes us feel and be our truest selves and join a movement of kindness and respect for all. We have come a long way, but we still have many challenges ahead of us. Let us remind everyone that people of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community have always been here, will always be here, and they will always be loud. They should have equal rights and are still often denied equality and experience rising levels of hate and discrimination. Today, more than ever, there is a need to continue building on the legacy of previous generations and advocates to advance the recognition of rights, equity, respect, and unity.
Thank you. Thank you. Comme conseiller Troster a dit, les activités de la fierté sont pour tout le monde. Merci à tous de vous joindre à nous aujourd'hui. Nous espérons que vous passerez une fierté heureuse et en toute sécurité. J'invite tout le monde ici et en ligne à se joindre aux nombreuses activités de la fierté qui se déroulent cette semaine dans toute la ville. Pride activities are for everyone. That means you. That's my super point. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you have a happy and safe Pride. I invite everyone here and online to join the many Pride activities happening this week and all over the city. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for our speakers. Thank you for celebrating and acknowledging Pride today and every day. Merci, miigwech, et bonne fierté. Happy Pride. Now we're going to move inside to the cafeteria where it's warm and there's some snacks. Please join us.